Welcome to this video series on composition. In this video, we are diving into an introduction and a working definition of composition, and then we are going over the tools necessary to help you rapidly improve your artwork and your compositional skills. Let's get into it. Each artist has their own theory and rules and models to which they adhere to almost dogmatically. There's many similarities and consistencies in the approach from one artist to the next. And yet there's somewhat differences on the use of systems, rules and armatures from artist to artist. There's no system that overlaps. For example, some artists will strictly adhere to using rule of thirds to get their paintings going and get a composition. Others might profess that using the golden ratio is the best way to go.
When we think of the main idea of a painting, or in any art media, we know the underlying constituents are shapes and lines to convey meaning to the viewer. When we think of the main idea, well-directed lines helps guide the viewer to where you want them in your picture. Lines animates the composition. Without lines, the shape, no matter how perfectly arranged, will look boring, repetitive, and has no temperament and will look meaningless. So therefore, we can say that composition is a combination of lines and shapes that hold the constituents of the picture together in an aesthetically pleasing way. So let's break this down into the different tools you can use to create good composition. The first one is the division of your canvas or working area, also known as working grounds. Rule of thirds is a divisional law that uses thirds and breaks the working surface up into intersections of interest and 9 equal square or rectangular shapes. This scene in Oudtshoorn I just did recently on a canvas panel 35 centimeters by 45 centimeters. An important note: don't use every single intersection point of the grid. And here we have the grid of the rule of thirds, and we can see the mountain there intersects on the third. And further down on the right hand side, you can see those bushes on the third, the grass there at the bottom left on the third, and just above it, the trees and the house there on the third. Golden ratio spiral or Fibonacci sequence is a divisional law that breaks up the ground surface into a ratio of 1.618. Many claim that this is the sequence and aesthetic order found in nature. The Fibonacci spiral can be employed in different starting positions, like in this diagram, leading to a point of interest at the end of the arrow. So the focal point in this picture is that light between the trees, where it tunnels to that focal point, and the other trees invites your eye in a spiral-like manner to that focal point. Even the light sparkles on the foreground is helping us into the focal point in this way. Let's look at the first lines we draw that would determine our working surface on our canvas. A low horizon line would work well if the subject matter is the sky, and a high horizon line would work indicating interest in the foreground. Another way of doing this is using the rule of thirds along the 1/3 line or 2/3 division line. So in both instances, it's important to remember that as long as our divisional line isn't in the center, but rather below or above the center. One of the things a lot of artists struggle with is keeping important elements of the picture from ending up in the middle. It seems to be a blind spot area for a lot of artists, including myself, where I have unintentionally put a tree or a building smack bang central. So I use what I call a blind spot circle and physically start my painting by drawing the circle in, just so I'm aware of working in the central region of my canvas and that nothing ends up in the center. Another region is the corners and the possibility of letting something important land up there, or if too strong contrasts end up pulling the eye out of the picture. So now let us look at lines and line temperament. Lines are the most basic building blocks of shapes, and all lines exist on a spectrum. The lines comprise the form, and the form is not separate from the line. In nature, all lines are divided into four main categories. Curved lines. So here we can see an example of the curved line. In those distant hills, rolling down in like a curved kind of a manner. And even in the foreground, the subtlety of the foreground has got this curved kind of shape to it. Then we go into disturbed erratic lines. Here we have a very rugged scene with disturbed erratic lines. And we can see it in those mountains in the distance. And we can see it in the rugged rocks here in the foreground. And yet another example, if we look at those mountains in the distance, disturbed erratic lines right there. And here, this picture is full of them. We can see that in the middle ground, in the foreground, and in the background are disturbed erratic lines. Winding, playful lines. If we think of waves or clouds, we can think of these graceful curl or curved lines. Just think of how graceful clouds can be. And you can see that here in this picture. It's full of these curved lyrical lines. And in trees as well, and in branches, we can see the curved, lyrical, playful line. Constructive lines or perspective lines. Here we can see stable, somber, upright lines in these trees and in their branches. And it's quite structural. And we can see in buildings as well. And in perspective, we see these structural lines lending itself to depth and structure. So let's talk about the armatures that create structure in our artwork. Diagonals. The diagonal line has a strong sweep that divides the canvas into two parts. You can add a focal point of interest at a point on the line. Be careful that your diagonal line, when used, does not leave into the corners of your picture plane. An example of this is this picture of chili fields near Van Galen. Diagonal sweep is leading us along up to the right towards the bushes. L shape. L shape can be turned around backwards or upside down. It indicates a composition with a strong vertical and horizontal arm. with the focal point intersecting on one of the arms, either vertical or horizontal. An example is these Cosmos fields in Aikenhof. The trees has a strong vertical, and the bushes on the horizontal leads the eye into the focal point of interest, the house. Here you have a thumbnail drawing indicating the L shape going towards the left of the picture plane. A group composition. A group is used for still life objects that is grouped into an arrangement. We use the rule of thirds to divide this type of composition into a pleasing arrangement. In landscape, the rule of thirds would also apply. Here, we can see a group type composition where the tree shapes are grouped as shapes together with the form of the building and the water tanks. Pattern or abstract. When we want to arrange a scene without a particular characteristic like the other conventional types of compositional armatures, we will use the pattern, looking for the main shapes or shadow and light patterns that contrast the nature in order to create an interesting design to the picture. An example of this, think of a canopy of trees where the light shines through, or the abstract shapes of clouds. Radiating lines. Radiating line compositions have a sense of perspective and can have 3 or more vector lines leading to a vanishing point on the picture plane. This photograph taken in the Hex River Mountains is a typical example of this. The telephone lines, road, fields, vineyards, and the mountains all lead to a focal unity point where the point of interest is on the picture plane. O-shape or tunnel. Here the viewer is led around the picture by the illusion of a circle or tunnel. The focal point of interest lies within the tunnel. Like this scene in Alpine Heath in the Drakensberg, we see the illusion of a circle as the main armature between the arch of the trees, the branches and foliage, taking us to the riverbank. Then the eyes are invited to look at the rocks in the river, leading all the way back up to the bark of the tree. S or Z shape. Think of a windy road, river or stream. It's a winding line taking us around the picture plane to a focal point somewhere along the journey and then winds back out. If turned the other way, you have the Z variation of the same armature. Here we see the sun beaming across the dusty road, inviting us to the focal point, the trees. We then notice the curvature of the clouds winding and then releasing in what we call an S shape. Triangles. Triangle-shaped compositional types consists of 3 key points of interest. It can also indicate objects within the picture that has a triangular structure like mountains. This picture is full of triangular shapes in those mountains. You can use this armature and put 2 other interesting focal points at the base of the mountain range to create more interest. So let's talk about the final concept that is seldom mentioned, and that is combined compositional armatures or mixed armatures. And many artworks exist on the spectrum of a main armature and then 1 or more sub-armatures to support the main armature or idea. Let's look at a picture we discussed earlier. We can see an S shape as it winds by the trees and back out into the clouds. This could be the strongest or main armature. But right next to the tree, we have the clouds, hills, and the dip in the road, giving us a perspective tunnel and inviting us to look into the distance right next to the tree, with the trees firmly placed between the S and the tunnel armature. Here we can see a sweeping diagonal type armature, dividing the photograph into two, with the length of the diagonal line winding into a tonal climax of a group of trees for us to look at, where the darks and the lights contrast in the middle ground. Here we can observe a triangular structure in the photograph, in the mountain on the right. Our eye is led into the left side by the road, and then there is a strong S leading up to the mountain slope, and another Z locking in and creating a framework for the main idea of the picture. Thank you for watching this video on composition till the end. Part 2 of the series will be out soon. So be on the lookout for that video if you are interested in learning more about improving your own artwork's composition. Until the next video, have a great day.